Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. I know I just did an update yesterday, but as I think I mentioned yesterday, my Best Buy shipment came in today. It was sitting on the doorstep when I got home. I already actually unboxed it, just because I saw from a couple of other videos that have been posted that it's a pretty large box, and then there were a couple of smaller boxes inside of it. A bunch of these you guys have seen. Actually, before I get to that, in the background, I have Never Surrender from Triumph playing. This is one I picked up a few days ago and showed yesterday. Triumph is a band that I just recently got into. I had heard them in the past. Didn't get too much into them, but as of late have kind of gotten a taste for them. So that's them in the background. I did a pretty good mix of albums from Best Buy. However, most of it is heavy metal. A lot of these you've seen from other posters from Best Buy. Obviously, there wasn't a huge selection of stuff that was on sale. I mean, it was probably 100 albums or so, and a lot of what's popular with one member of the VC is popular with most members of the VC. So, that being said, stuff like the Jason Isbell album, most people that I talk with via the VC or that I message back and forth with are fans of Jason Isbell. Mostly from the Drive-By Truckers. I believe this is his second solo album. He also did a live album as well. This, I think, was last year's best album. And it was one of those things that I was going to buy time and time again. And I'd be at my record shop and just kind of see something else that I wanted more at that moment and would get that instead. Mainly because I already have this on MP3 somewhere. But you usually see this for anywhere from $18 to $29, depending on the store you go to. And this was, I believe, $9.99 through the sale. And they call it a vinyl sale, and a lot of the stuff is still there. I would say a good 80% of the vinyl that was there a month ago on sale is still on sale right now. I'm amazed that they still have copies of this album. I mean, this really is just an amazing, amazing album. It's kind of an alternative country album. If you've heard the Drive-By Truckers, with the exception of, I believe, their last album, possibly their last two, then you've likely heard of Jason Isbell or heard Jason Isbell. He wrote a good chunk of their music for a number of years there and was one of the singers. I got into him before I even knew who he was. I just found myself liking one particular singer from the Drive-By Truckers more than the other one. I'm talking about the male vocalists. And I later came to find out that was Jason Isbell. And I really like his writing. But man, this album from beginning to end is really just a flawless album. And this is one I would recommend to just about anybody who's into just good music, So Jason Isbell. Southeastern. Let's go through the ones that aren't heavy metal. The next one I got is one that, again, most of you that I collaborate with or share videos with and talk to also bought this. This is Primus Frizzle Fry. I've heard different things about this repress. I've heard that the quality is not the best. I haven't listened to it yet, obviously. It's still... So I just actually opened this box and brought these up here about an hour ago and was doing some cleaning up here. So I've looked to make sure everything was there, but that's about it. Nothing has been opened yet. I'm a huge Primus fan. I hated Primus the first time I heard him. I think I heard him first when... Jerry Was the Race Car Driver first hit, that single hit, and it was all over MTV. I thought it was the dumbest thing that I had ever heard. And it's funny, looking back, that's actually one of my favorite Primus songs. I wouldn't say favorite, it's probably top 5, though, of my favorite Primus songs. I later, and I don't know if it was one of those things where the more I heard it, that and My Name is Mud and DMV and the other songs off of Pork Soda, I don't know if I just kind of got used to the bass fronted or alternative bass fronted band. And as I got more into him, and as a drummer, I really got into Tim Alexander, and he's amazing. When he left, or I don't know, I don't remember if he left or he was forced out of the band. I'm pretty sure he left. I was pretty disappointed. I believe he went back later on, but great band. I actually saw them live for I want to say it was a Tales from the Punch Bowl tour. And they're amazing. My favorite album from Primus is actually Selling the Seas of Cheese. I do like Frizzle Fry. Frizzle Fry is probably number 2 for me. And I also like their EP, Miscellaneous Debris, with Skeeter on the front. That's one of my favorites too, with Have a Cigar. He also did, Les Claypool also did Rhinoplasty later, a few years later, that had a Jerry Reed song on it. I'm drawing a blank right now. Amos Moses on it. Just so much good music. On here, John the Fisherman is great. Pudding Time. Beginning to end, I mean, it really is just a great album. So I do look forward to hearing this. I hope that the rumors that I hear that it's not a very good pressing are incorrect. But I will find out very soon. So, Primus. Oh, yeah, so my Primus story real quick. I went to see them live at Mesa Amphitheater in Phoenix, or in Mesa, Arizona, right outside of Phoenix. A great concert venue. It's a small amphitheater with no seats, and it doesn't really matter where you sit. You have a good view of the show. So it began with Mike Watt coming on. I'm sure most of you know Mike Watt, very famous punk rock musician from the Minutemen. He hit the stage and he had this weird deal going on. And like I said, this was Tales from the Punch Bowl, so this was what, maybe 94-ish? I don't remember exactly when it came out, but right around that time frame. Mike Watt hit the stage and he had this double drummer deal going, and it was horrible. And I've always dug Mike Watt, at least his punk stuff. I don't know what he was thinking or what he was doing, but by the end of the second song, he had been booed off the stage. He actually threatened to fight everybody in the audience. By this time, there were thousands of people loaded in there. And he started talking about he's going to show us what a real punk is and fuck everybody up. Anyway, he got booed off stage. Then Primus comes out, or Les Claypool comes out first, and starts playing the opening bass line to Here Come the Bastards, which is just a sick bass line. And he had that sick string bass that he always played with back then. I mean, he plays with a variety now, but back then it was that first really nice 6-string bass. And some asshole threw a water bottle and hit his bass, and music stopped dead. And I thought the concert was over. I have never seen a musician get that pissed off. Anyway, finally he cools down, says if another bottle hits him, the band's leaving the stage. So people are still throwing bottles like assholes, but they made it through the show. Anyway, a mosh pit was going on. I don't remember what song it was. There was a mosh pit going. I was there with this girl that I had been dating. Her name was Jennifer. So she decides she wants to go check out the mosh pit. She's never seen a mosh pit before. So we're right on the edge of it. And this dude slams into her with his shoulder, hits her on her bottom lip, and her lip goes through, or her tooth goes through her lip. Blood she's wearing a white shirt, just blood everywhere. So, I'm kind of freaking out. And she's like, I'm good. She's like, casualties of war. We got to stay for the concert. So we ended up staying and watching the whole show. It was a pretty cool show. It was just one of those things where it was just kind of one thing after another. Like I said, it turned out to be a really good show. Les Claypool and Tim Alexander were just amazing. And that was kind of the end of the band at its best. It may not have even... No, I guess it would have to be Tales from the Punch Bowl. I'm just trying to think. Regardless, Primus, Frizzle Fry. Next up is the Beatnuts. I haven't seen anybody show this one, and again, it kind of surprised me. Intoxicated Demons, the EP. This was the first from the Beatnuts. This is when it was Psycho Les, Fashion, and Juju. I don't remember when Fashion left, but if I remember correctly, it's just Psycho Les and Juju for quite a while now. But I remember buying this the day it came out. This was kind of a highly anticipated album for me. I don't remember exactly why. I just remember reading a bunch of articles about this being one of just kind of a real breakthrough in hip hop, and really excited about this and picking it up. I barely remember it. I remember the song Psycho Dwarf. I don't remember any of the songs off of it though. I mean, it was '93, so I mean, obviously it's been a long time. But yeah, like I said, I remember this was back when the warehouse was open when I bought this, and the warehouse had this policy for cassettes that you could return up to 2 cassettes, and the third one you had to keep. So we went me and a friend Larry and a friend Petrus had this thing where we would go a couple of times a week to the various warehouses, and we would buy a cassette, take it home, record it, take it back, buy another cassette, take it home, record it. And then for the third cassette, because it was one we had to keep, we would pick something that we had really been excited to buy or that we really enjoyed, and we would keep that one. But it was funny. This was, I saw this and I had to buy it. And this isn't the only Beatnuts that I have. I have, I can't even think of the other Beatnuts album that I have. I have another one over there, though. But and I don't think they're as good now as they were back then. But Intoxicated Demons, the EP and the album were both very good. So, Intoxicated Demons. Next up, and now we're to the metal. Well, actually, let's start with these first. A couple people I have seen pick these up. Not enough, in my opinion. This, about 3 or 4 years ago, became one of my favorite bands, and that band is Volbeat. This is Rock the Rebel, Metal the Devil. And then Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood. I'm actually kind of disappointed by this. If I knew it was going to be a picture disc, I probably wouldn't have bought it. As you can see, it's... I don't know. I love this album, so hopefully it plays good. But it is what it is. For less than $10, you can't complain. But for those of you who haven't listened to Volbeat is a Danish band. It's kind of hard to loophole them into one style. They've got some songs that are straight up heavy metal. They've got some songs that are almost rockabilly or psychobilly. They've got songs that are alt metal, alternative, hard rock, and they'll have that mixture on one album. It's not like one album is heavy metal. I mean, it's just a really, really eclectic sort of band, but they're amazing. Like I said, I heard one song from them, and I was pretty much hooked. And after that, I've looked for everything, and I have all their stuff on CD. I'm looking to get all their stuff on vinyl now. But a great band. I highly recommend this if you like any kind of psychobilly or hard rock, hardcore metal, anything like that. This is a great band to check out. So that's Volbeat. I got both of the albums that they had on sale. Let's see. Next up. This is another one I'm surprised I didn't see very many people buy. Dr. Feelgood from Motley Crue. I love this album. This is probably my favorite album from Motley Crue. This is the 180 gram reissue. If you see right, let's see. It says this is their last, the final tour. I don't know if this is one of the previous last tours or if this is the one that's coming up this year. I'm actually going to go see them again. I saw Motley Crue 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. It was Motley Crue and Kiss. I tell you what, man, they're just as good now as they were when I saw them back in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. Actually, it had to be early '90s because it was for this concert. But God, they were so good. Um, they opened for Kiss, and that concert's kind of the reason I got into Kiss. I was never a huge Kiss fan. I had friends growing up that loved Kiss. That was their band, just like you have people that love Iron Maiden. I was just never one of those people. I'm still not. I don't go out of my way to buy every piece of Kiss ephemera or all their albums. If I see one of their albums that I like for a good price, I'll pick it up. And I've got 5 or 6 of their albums over there that I've just ran across in good condition and didn't want to pass them up. But it was an amazing show. Motley Crue opened that particular night, did an amazing. I mean, Mick Mars, the guy's spine is half fused together. He can barely move. And I think he plays better now than he did, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. His playing has gotten so good. He's a very underrated guitarist, in my opinion. He doesn't get near enough credit. I go back and forth. My favorite song from Motley Crue is not on this album. My favorite song is Primal Scream. I was so excited when Decade of Decadence came out and that song was on there. I think that was the heaviest song that Motley Crue had made. And their albums, Dr. Feelgood, I think, had a lot of really heavy stuff on it as well. And I was hoping that they would keep going in that Primal Scream direction of getting heavier and heavier. And then, unfortunately, Vince Neil left the band shortly after, or right around the time Decade of Decadence came out. And that's when Gary Cherone stepped in, and Generation Swine was recorded. I wasn't a big fan of that. I would say Decade of Decadence is the last Motley Crue album I would buy. I go back and forth. I say this one's my favorite. I love every single song on here. I mean, you got Terror in Tinseltown, Dr. Feelgood, Rattlesnake Shake, Kickstart My Heart, Without You, Same Old Situation, She Goes Down, Don't Go Away Mad. I mean, these are all great songs. That, like I said, I loved them all. At the same time, Theater of Pain, I was also a monstrous fan of. Shout at the Devil, I love from beginning to end. This was not the only one they had on sale. You'll see I bought 10 albums. I gave myself a budget. I said I was only going to spend this much. I wanted to buy the other 3 Motley Crue albums that were on sale. All of the initial albums, and I mean the initial albums, all their albums through this one, with the exception of Shout at the Devil, were on sale for, it was either $8.99 or $9.99. I wanted to pick them all up, but I already have Theater of Pain. It's a good sounding one. Theater of Pain was the album that got me into Motley Crue. I remember when that came out. I go back and forth between that and this, and Shout at the Devil over, which is my favorite. I'm not a fan of Girls, Girls, Girls. There are some songs I like on there, but I think that was their weakest album up through Decade of Decadence. So, regardless, Dr. Feelgood, if you guys didn't buy this, I would go and get it. It's a great price. To pick up any of these for under $10, and pretty much all of these. There's a couple that I bought for over $10, but most of them were $10 and less. So now we're going to get to the heavy metal. A couple of people have showed this one and the next one. First up, we got Black Label Society, Blessed Hell Ride. I love Black Label Society. I kind of found them by accident. I mean, I've always been an Ozzy fan, as most of you know from my previous videos, and because of that, I'm a Zakk Wylde fan. He is probably one of my favorite heavy metal guitarists. We'll get into who is my favorite at the end here, because I picked up an album from with him as well. Blessed Hell Ride is a great album. Honestly, I don't think that there is a bad Black Label Society album. I would recommend any of them. There's not even one I can say I like more than another. They're all that good. Even Hangover Music, and there's one more, I can't think of it off the top of my head, where it's slower, heavy songs. I love. So, but yeah, again, Blessed Hell Ride, great metal album. Next up, also Black Label Society, Skolage. This is a comp. It's got most of the greatest hits on here. Some really really good music. There's not a bad song on here. Oh man, let's see: Suicide Messiah, New Religion, Doomsday Jesus, Stillborn, Bleed for Me. The acoustics are all great. I have this on CD, so I'm very familiar with it. I'll show this in another video later. It's actually clear green vinyl, which is pretty cool. But again, some really great heavy metal and some great music from Zakk Wylde. And keep your eye out for Pride and Glory too. Zakk Wylde put out a bluesier album. That was his first solo, and it's actually under Zakk Wylde. Pride and Glory is the album. Check that out too. It's just him playing some really killer blues riffs, and it's definitely worth checking out. And he did that before he started Black Label Society. So next up, this is another one I was really surprised that nobody bought, because this is just really really good metal. I have thoughts on why. It still kind of surprises me though. I didn't like this band when they first came out, and they've kind of grown on me. This is their most recent release. This is Wrongdoers from Norma Jean. Norma Jean is a really good, really heavy band. Sometimes they touch on screamo, a little bit of... they go back and forth, you know. A lot of it's screamo, metalcore. But regardless, they're a really good band. They are a Christian band, which I'm sure turns some people off. But I mean, even reading their lyrics and stuff, I mean, it's just great metal. They're right up there with Devil Wears Prada. If you've ever listened to Devil Wears Prada, they're another metalcore, Christian metalcore band, and there's a bunch of them out there. It actually surprised me, because I had gotten into Devil Wears Prada before I found out that they were a Christian band, and went back and read some of their lyrics, and you see a touch of it in their lyrics, but none of these bands are overtly religious like White Cross, which I showed a couple weeks ago, where they definitely wear their religion on their sleeve, which is cool. You know, I really like White Cross as well. And I told a story about them. But Norma Jean is just another good band, and this is a great album. This came out last year. And again, it's Wrongdoers. And then last but not least, I had mentioned my favorite metal guitarist. He's probably one of the most underrated metal guitarists out there, and it blows me away. He's classically trained. In some of the band's earlier albums, he would play these beautiful solos where he incorporated his classical playing, very much in the vein of Randy Rhoads. I mean, just a classically trained musician that took that training and just pumped out some amazing thrash. Another thing about this band that blows me away is I actually think that they were better than I think their thrash was better than Anthrax's, with the exception of Among the Living, which I think is one of the best thrash albums out there. But they never really got credit. You know, the hardcore metal fans back in the 80s liked this band, but that was it. You know, you didn't really hear about them at the level that you heard about Metallica or Megadeth. And I think they really were at that level. But this is going to be Testament, Dark Roots of Earth. And this is another one. I can't believe I didn't see anybody else buying this one. This was on sale as well. It's like a $29 album. I think I paid $13 for it. I can't remember off the top of my head. This is just really good metal. Testament. I mean, even during the years when Alex Skolnick, who's the guitarist that I was talking about, if you want to hear some amazing guitar work, just look up Alex Skolnick. Listen to some of his solos from their early albums. Like I think he had a really cool solo on Souls of Black, if I remember correctly. One of my favorite albums from them isn't on vinyl that I've seen, and it's Return to the Apocalyptic City, which was a live EP that came out. I don't remember if it was the early 90s or the late 80s, but that's another one I would love to see on vinyl someday. So Testament got back together with the original lineup. I don't remember if I think the drummer might have left again before this album. I don't remember who the drummer was. I'll have to look it up. But they got back together and did something really cool a few years back. This was the late '90s, maybe the early 2000s. They put out an album called First Strike Still Deadly. And what they did was they took a bunch of their hits from the 80s and went back in the studio and recorded them now that they're better musicians and now that they've got this technology. And it was kind of a way for the original lineup to get back together and get grooving again and put out this amazing album. And it's all hits from their albums in the 80s. And it's just heavier and thicker and just, it's amazing. They put out one more album between then and this one. I've only listened to this a couple times. I have it on MP3. I downloaded it when it first came out. However, I just don't listen to my iPod that much anymore. When I used to work out at the gym every day, that's when I spent most of my time listening to heavy metal. Because when I'm at home, I listen to vinyl. And at work, I usually listen to Pandora. Now that I train jiu-jitsu full-time, I say full-time, 4 days a week usually, I just, whatever music is playing at the gym is what I listen to. It's not like I'm at the lifting weights or training anymore like I used to when I used to be into lifting. But so I didn't get that time with this album when it first came out. Now that I have it on vinyl, though, this will be in heavy rotation. But again, this is the most recent Testament, Dark Roots of Earth. And that is it for me, friends. Those are my picks. Actually, it's, sorry to keep you guys on here for so long if you made it this far. I like to do a little bit more than, I'm trying to get into the storytelling side of these videos to make them a little more interesting for you and just kind of share my thoughts and my stories. So other than that, have a good night, VC. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.